Okay, good afternoon. See Indian government and politics, UPSC 132, block number 4, society and politics, unit 10, caste, class, and tribe. See, unit 10 see, mamanda when communalism, casteism, the Marilyn number, class to cover over area way. The Hamada when society and politics ta caste class aduga tribe ahum jigi masang mato de khangnanaba honari je kari no ha kan ya nan bada introduction da piri ji india si ngasai gi yamna khena ba kya na semba diverse society ma boy maside yawi si tungan ba magi identities, social identities, caste, tribe, gender, class, social classes, farmers, workers, professionals, smart out the one group social identities the same manina. Saigi high womency, Masak Kanga all these groups and classes have relationships with politics. High social class. Groups membership society politics ka mo tungan salon da mari laini politics ka masai haiba society da yawiba different social identities and groups membership siga laina mari dina mo kamaina politics da natraga politics na society da natraga society na politics da regi ahomba Sapu people gave cannot politics is a process through which multiple identities and social groups seek to resolve their conflicts and have their issues addressed. Simple way na politics have si karino haraganda politics have si nasai kunaidu the laiba tungan ba identities salon puba kanur sing mayam sigi Munarapa Singainarapa Tolapa Kanda, Sagi Kamaina Madu, Santai Nagadagi, Kamaina Madugi, Wakainava Purakadagi, Ivana Simbagi, and was data politics na, Madu the low river Taudan, Sagi politics, Taudan. Politics involves our ability to participate in making decisions about these issues through their representatives or by participating in political activities. Politics is more karino hai politics da mu yawresina saigi ikoina citizens oina diversity daga social members of the society belonging to different identity groups and social classes tongan groups identities members citizens sometimes directly involved with political activities solidarity movement public convention political activities Adu natabada masagi politics data mu masagi akogi lengang naba laiba lenga pathap segi mihusingi mating na mihusing season kanda through our representatives sai amu koi politics da involved tor mam ninga sai directly akoi mam involved to ya da matang da di koigi mihusing ji khalla kanda koina decision lobugi thodang da whole level Politics occurs within the institutions and outside them, in public spaces or even within private spaces. Aduna ngasai masida koina khamina we absi politics cybersy ngasai haiba tungan ba institutions singko social bureau the political bureau laiba tungan ba cultural we sigi mayam sida politics si koigi aduma yaurga lai sago na ko masi koina sina politics ni adune na khaidok na ba politics everywhere mass labor to yaduna politics si private space adi miyang yoina labor kogi ko phampak ta miyang yoiba ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯑꯄꯨꯟꯕ ꯁꯦ ꯂꯨꯞ ꯁꯦꯝꯕꯕꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯁꯨ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯕꯥꯛꯀꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯏꯁꯨꯁꯤꯡ ꯀꯣ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯅꯩꯅꯕꯗꯕꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯁꯨ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯄꯕ꯭ꯂꯤꯛꯀꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯤꯌꯥꯝꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯂꯅꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯍꯤꯔꯝ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯇꯤꯛꯁꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯌꯥꯎꯗꯕ ꯌꯥꯗꯕ ꯂꯩꯌꯦꯕꯀꯣ The multiple social identities represent society and they interact with politics. adana haiba different groups myansi magi tuan tuan social identities si sijina society je masak tai aduga maikoi jina mu politics ka interact tawi ko aduna thus a relationship is built between society and politics aduna society ka politics ka je tana thana ba yadaba mari ma masai interactions na same ko this relationship is reciprocal in nature. That is, the society impacts politics and vice versa. I think Saigi Laiba society and some politics ki ani marisi Saigi Kamai to work under reciprocal level. I think Nakal Namakatagi Uibana Tabaka, Nakal Ani Maktagi, Sembadu Maria Moe. I think societies na politics na Saitian Pigani, Aduga, say politics na most society is Saitian Pigo. And Ani Maxing Saigi. Two-way traffic way ba reciprocal way amana tawado amadagi amada dum akogi madu isaitheng ko suppose lai je koina caste class amnu tribe privacy ngasai karino na khangna bo khona gi saruk sida sigi introduction da koina lairisna Identities denote relations among social groups. Some identities are hereditary. The nature of such identities may undergo changes, but these identities remain. Example, caste. Tentang haiba caste class among tribes kai no na koina how do sida yang pakanda sai social groups me amjigi marakta lainariba mari do maduduna haiba social groups singigi sakta khodam oiba mai gi identities ko मोगी सक्ताक सक्तम ओय आइडेंटिटीज खरादी कइदोबा मोगी खुनाइदा फंगिबा मोगी टॉप टॉपा सक्तम पुबा को कनो सिंसी सोसाइटी की मसक आगदरा सोसाइटी की सरोक सिंग हाबे तारे मोई जी खरा मदी हेरिडिटरी ओय हाबेदी कोई पारी पुरी की को मोगी कोई चदा नौदागी सिगी मरी जिदैदा कोई सेमगत पादुगुंबा आइडेंटिटी ओय बको aduga haiba myamsi matamgi matungina hongbadi yai adugu identity singdi aduma mangdana laiba ko kudamoina caste ko caste si manipur da su adum sanai adugu maroina hoigi mainstream hindu society da ko hoigi barna mari khaidam lai haiba caste si sai hereditary abi ngasai pari puri mapa mapu gi keno aina poriba imungdogi caste matungina aigi caste oinani habadi ai brahmin oina po brahmin gi imungda po de ai brahmin oi aina brahmin nati haiba yade ado hairagasu adugi hondongjin laitabadi nate adubu by birth mi dugi magi poibadugi matungina magi caste lepi habani ko some identities are not hereditary they depend upon the economic conditions such identities are classes some identities are defined by certain characteristics which members of such groups have. Such identities are known as tribes. In addition, other identities include religion, language, or region. Haiba hereditary da based over identity ko kadamana caste pigre adu natabada hereditary da based over economic conditions ko midugi magi sentungi fivam ko magi income cam generate tawi tawde habina singba magi ko adugumagi fivam duna define toba identity su lai haibajina mu social classes haidana koina amtoina seasonaba upper class middle class lower class haibasida mu tongan ba ko upper middle class ko nagi lower middle class kana the minor su yang khai ba su ma myam se ko rich poor su ma myam se ko social class ki firam ni ko jina mu senthong gi mi jingdugi senthong gi firam na lepa sakta maidara adumaina oi aduga atopa mana koigi identities karana magi top characteristics ko magi mo matau ko masasing karana koigi kanglup tugi saktam se lepa na haiba singsi kudam moina koigi tribe ko koigi londa haraga di masi akoina singi haidana hai ko ꯃꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯑꯅꯧꯕ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯀꯤ ꯀꯟꯁꯦꯞꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯆꯤꯡꯃꯤ ꯍꯥꯎꯃꯤ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯌꯦꯜꯍꯧꯃꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯨ ꯀꯩꯁꯨ ꯀꯥꯏꯗꯦ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯖꯤꯅꯁ ꯄꯤꯄꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯗꯣꯏꯅꯤ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯝꯗꯝꯗꯨꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯖꯤꯅꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯄꯤꯄꯜꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗꯨꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯑꯄꯨꯟꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯦꯝꯕꯔꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡ ꯃꯇꯧ ꯃꯁꯛꯁꯤꯡ ꯈꯔ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯈꯔ ꯇꯣꯞ ꯇꯣꯞꯅ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯕꯦꯁꯤꯁꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯦ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯀꯧꯏꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯗꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯦꯟꯇꯤꯇꯤꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯕꯒꯨꯝꯂꯗꯅ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯕꯗꯧꯅ ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯁꯣꯁꯤꯌꯦꯜ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯦꯟꯇꯤꯇꯤꯁ ꯑꯇꯩꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯇꯕ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯁꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯅꯤꯡꯗ ꯕꯦꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯔꯤꯂꯤꯖꯟꯗ ꯕꯦꯁ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯑꯥꯏꯗꯦꯟꯇꯤꯇꯤ ꯂꯩ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯦꯡꯒ꯭ꯋꯦꯖꯇ ꯕꯦꯁ ꯇꯧꯕꯀꯣ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯔꯤꯖꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥꯒꯤ ꯅꯣꯔꯠ ꯁꯥꯎꯠ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯅꯣꯔꯠ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯅꯣꯔꯠ ꯏꯁ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯈꯥꯏꯗꯣꯛꯄ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯗꯅꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯗꯁꯨ ꯁꯦꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯜ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯆꯥꯎꯔꯥꯛꯄ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯔꯤꯐꯔꯦꯟꯁ ꯄꯤꯅꯔꯤꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅꯁꯨ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯈꯥꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯏꯑꯕ ꯃꯊꯪꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯈꯔ ꯀꯨꯞꯊꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯕꯗ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯀꯥꯁ denotes position of a social group in a hierarchy of relations which is based on birth ꯀꯣ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯈꯤꯕꯗꯧꯅ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯟꯅꯥꯏꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯤ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞ ꯑꯃ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯕꯥꯏ ꯕꯔth ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯏ ꯃꯔꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯧꯔꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯥꯁꯁꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯗ ꯈꯨꯟꯅꯥꯏꯗꯨꯗ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯊꯥꯛ ꯑꯃ ꯐꯪꯉꯤꯅꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯀꯤꯅ ꯑꯅꯦꯝ ꯑꯋꯥꯡ ꯈꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯆꯠꯅꯕꯤ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯛꯄꯅꯤꯅ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟꯁꯤꯅ ꯕꯔꯅ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯨꯡ ꯏꯟꯅ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟꯁꯤꯅ ꯈ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯌꯦꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯖꯦꯅꯔꯦꯂꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯈ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯁꯨꯗ꯭ꯔ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯩ ꯁꯨꯗ꯭ꯔꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥꯗ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯟꯇꯆꯦꯕꯜꯁ ꯗꯂꯤꯠꯁ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃꯁꯨ ꯈꯥꯏꯗꯣꯛꯏꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯨꯡ ꯏꯟꯅ ꯄꯣꯛꯎꯕ ꯏꯃꯨꯡ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯄꯣꯛꯏꯕ ꯀꯥꯁꯇꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯨꯡ ꯏꯟꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯟꯅꯥꯏꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯛꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯑꯅꯦꯝ ꯑꯋꯥꯡꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯛꯁꯦ ꯈꯥꯏꯕꯗꯨꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯏꯁ ꯅꯣꯠ ꯑꯣꯟꯂꯤ ꯍꯦꯔꯤꯗꯤꯇꯔꯤ ꯕꯠ ꯑꯣꯜꯁꯣ ꯑꯦꯟꯗꯣꯒꯥꯃꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯁꯁꯤ ꯍꯦꯔꯤꯗꯤꯇꯔꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯗ ꯅꯠꯇꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯟꯗꯣꯒꯥꯃꯁꯁꯨ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯄꯣꯛꯏꯕ ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯆꯥꯔꯧ ꯃꯔꯧꯅꯕꯁꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯊꯤꯕ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯌꯨꯝ ꯄꯥꯟꯕꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯥꯁꯇꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯧꯅ ꯂꯩꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯁꯤꯅꯤꯀꯣ Endogamous means a person can marry within his or her caste. Traditionally, every caste was assigned specific occupation in society. Caste ꯑꯁꯦꯡꯕ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯍꯧꯔꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯍꯧꯔꯛꯂꯣꯟ ꯊꯤꯖꯤꯜꯂꯨꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯟꯅꯥꯏꯗꯨꯗ ꯃꯤꯑꯣꯏ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯂꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯁꯤꯟꯐꯝ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯤꯜ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯥꯅ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞꯇꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯤꯜꯗꯣ ꯁꯦ ꯊꯥꯡ ꯁꯥꯕ ꯊꯥꯡꯖꯝꯅ ꯊꯥꯡ ꯁꯥꯕ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯪꯁꯨꯡꯕꯝ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯂꯪ ꯁꯥꯕꯒꯤ ꯁꯝꯖꯦꯠ ꯁꯥꯕꯝ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯈꯥꯏꯔꯝꯃꯤꯁꯦ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯇꯥꯏꯞꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯦ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯀꯥꯁꯇꯣ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯤ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯔꯣꯟꯁꯦ ꯅꯥꯏꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯁꯤꯟꯐꯝ ꯈꯔ ꯄꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯆꯠꯂꯛꯄ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕꯒꯤ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯧꯔꯛꯈꯤꯕꯅꯦꯕ The caste-based occupation also indicated the social hierarchy in the society. ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯊꯕꯛꯇꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯨꯡ ꯏꯟꯅꯁꯨ ꯃꯤꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯟꯅꯥꯏꯗꯨꯗ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯊꯥꯛꯁꯦ ꯀꯌꯥꯝ ꯋꯥꯡꯕꯅꯣ ꯅꯦꯝꯕꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯨ ꯂꯦꯞꯄꯦꯕꯀꯣ These different castes were grouped into 4 varnas: Brahmin, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Sudras. ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯃꯔꯤ ꯊꯣꯛꯅ ꯂꯩ. The erstwhile untouchable castes which are placed in the scheduled caste category in the government gazette are also known as Dalits. ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯑꯃꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ untouchable ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯚꯔꯅ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝꯁꯤꯗꯕꯨꯛꯇ ꯃꯅꯨꯡ ꯆꯟꯗꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ untouchable ꯀꯥꯡꯕꯨꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯀꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ scheduled caste ꯑꯗꯨꯒ Dalits ꯍꯥꯏꯅꯁꯨ ꯈꯪꯅꯩꯀꯣ. Over the years, especially after independence, these ideal features of caste have undergone significant changes. However, its hereditary nature and endogamy remain largely enduring. ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯅꯤꯡꯇꯝꯕ ꯐꯪꯉꯕ ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗ ꯆꯍꯤ ꯀꯌꯥꯁꯤꯗꯩꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯁꯀꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡ ꯃꯇꯧ ꯀꯩꯀꯥꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯍꯣꯡꯕ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯥꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯍꯣꯡꯗꯕꯁꯨ ꯂꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯍꯣꯡꯕ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯑꯃꯗꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯍꯣꯡꯗꯕ ꯅꯦꯆꯔ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯍꯦꯔꯤꯗꯤꯇꯔꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯕꯥꯏ ꯕꯔꯊ ꯃꯤꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯐꯪꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯑꯣꯟꯊꯣꯛ ꯑꯣꯟꯁꯤꯟ ꯌꯥꯗꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯑꯦꯟꯗꯣꯒꯥꯃꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯁꯇꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯃꯣꯏ ꯆꯥꯔꯧ ꯃꯔꯧꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯍꯣꯡꯗ꯭ꯔꯤ. According to Louis Dumont, the author of Homo Hierarchicus,ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ Louis Dumont ꯏꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯂꯥꯏꯔꯤꯛꯁꯤꯗ different castes in India are placed in a graded hierarchy. mana nainabida India da leba caste nam si tong caste nam si ngasai gi graded ko tharama pyramidal keno ma da khoi shem bai da ko Duman argues that in power relationships among castes, Brahmins enjoy more decisive role than the Kshatriya. Brahmina khwaidagi maruiba khoi decisive oiba thodang ko lawi Kshatriya singdagi su hena wangna power relation gi wani. Nicholas Dirks and others, however, challenged Duman's notion as it failed to explain the social sense, dynamism, and individualistic strivings even within the traditional Indian society. Adubu Nicholas Dirks aduga atopa scholars moigi analysis study sagi Duman na hariba magi kenosi hierarchy gi posi masi yaningda bakra phongdo e kamaramdi kunai hongai ba saktam adagi magi akogi individualism gi laiba keno myamsi masi kenosi maduna mapum phana phongdo pangam de haidana ko subaina ta pangam de haidana Gerald Berman pointed out that principle of Brahminical hierarchy was not uniformly followed by all Hindus. He also criticized the Dumontian notion that power and economic factors are distinct and epiphenomenal to caste. Gerald gi wakalon da su masai Brahminical hierarchy gi laiba gi no se sammanana Hindu khudimana follow taude aidana ngasai Lewis Duman ki magi power and economic factors ki hadi hierarchy ji amna rigid oiba koigi ko kaimta koigi khenaba laitana mafung parimakta koi sanaba adamaina enoina koigi thambasi solid oina laibasi madu janinde madu waidi haidana jarel musu phande. Many others are of the opinion that caste hierarchy is not a fixed hierarchy, rather it is context specific and fluid and contains seeds of contestation among various castes. Adagi atopa scholars ke amana su kari hari mekoi ki wakalon da su caste ki hierarchy is ko ki fixed way de haidi pura home ya da ba ko ki adugumba anem wangi thangate masi matang gi ba makha pon da su way aduga lona ko ki phondong den su lay ko aduga caste ki manung da su masi gi kano se Hongdong Ningbagi can either a con, Navayanada contestation in Marudus, Masada Yauzari had another man, had a home when I again way have Nicholas Dirks cites ethnographic and textual evidence to demonstrate that Brahmins and their texts were not so central to the social fabric of Indian life. Nicholas Dirks Namaruina Magi ethnographic and textual evidence season Aranda Brahmins in now Maikogi scriptures ka pagi Vedic texting amamas pagi Veda Shastra si saigi pai nei aduga madu gi mateng na maikogi toaba ko high social status ama pagi enjoy to ko adugu hari basing asaigi yamna central oiba Indian life sida yam central oiba kenoma ko yamna maikoisina pagi yam maru oiba kenoma thodang ma lorga leibagi phibam dudi natti haidana Nicholas Dirks na power relations and command over men and resources were more important. Nicholas Dirks na haiba social hierarchy gi wafam si caste ki posi hierarchy gi masak si laiga su maroina taseng na laiba kamuk sum gi ko masai gi power relation aduga kanana kanai mathakta lai kanai mathakta gi yathang piba ngami habina simuri keno se karina lepa ke kanda resources power relations aduga command over men and resources ko masijina lepe jai law caste ki wala ju ni wai dana ngasai bureaucracy da kaida wai so bo ben ma phamna ma wala ba nasagana wai business ki line da wai am so ba and successful business type ma or industrialism or ta ga ngasai madu task ki magi importance can order mandar can order man hanging is Brahmins were merely ritual specialists, often subordinate to powerful ruling families. Brahmins in see Michael Tasena, Hogi, Lighto, Tinto, Bogi, like Huram Mokopada, Masai, I shot in Son, Novi the Mokta, Michael Akana labor, using when at Tawia Duga, Michael Ayam Matamda, Hogi, Langaiba, ruling class side Shetria Kambuka, Sijigi, Michael Makatana, Ayam and a labor. Way higher than other minor manatamico. According to this view, the caste-based scriptural or Brahminical model of traditional India was an invention of the British Orientalists and ethnographers. Ada topa nyeng amadana haiba caste-based Brahminical model of traditional India si maroina British Orientalist na haibadi akogi Occidentalist ko maikoina Occidentalist ware maikoina wase Asia romda ko akogi la kanda maikoina akogi kunai si mahing adagi sanabi na myam sin nei na pado adudai da sai maikoina semgalapa adugumba akogi keno mani masruona mani haidana masai thame model se ba caste play a very critical role in the Indian social reformers and nationalist perception of caste. It was certainly not a mere product of British imagination. Adubu haibasi miyeng among asagi British Orientalists adubu ethnographers ingi invention amani haibagi more thamagasu tasengna yengrugadi yagi asagi social reformers ko Raja Ramun Roy wai matamdagi social nabida sagar roy kari wai myangi Vivekanand roy gi kari gi moi gi wari da ko amada nationalist topa me amugi kenosta ju sai India gi caste ki issues caste ki problem si masi yari me khai masi sai gi ko gi kayani caste ki mungna ba ji ko gi job to ba address to ga sai gi khuna ya pun ba sagal na ba gi keno si yam pa na khona ra ko gi keno ma ko gi nationalist movements da yaw bani na ko gi Indian society maroi na Hindu society ji nei na ba kanda caste haibasi ngasai gi hekte British Orientalist na ethnographer jin hekta pusalaga bagi popular hani ba por amani haibasi madumati lagani haibati caste ki top kaino ma India gi Hindu society ji da dum chauna bagi sagona raga homina bagi por amal lai haibani. In modern India, the policies of the state social welfare schemes for the welfare of marginalized groups, implementation of constitutional provisions prohibiting caste-based untouchability, reservation for the scheduled caste in government jobs, political institutions, land reforms, etc., diluted the rigidity of caste relations. Aduga modern India, maruina koi ningkha tama matung dagi di ngasai Indian state na ya Indian government na local pa magi tungan ba koi policy sing ko ngasai social welfare schemes sing makada na iba koi marginalized groups sing ko koi Centum Laila Shu Gikari Kenoda, Hidam da Koi Sota Horoba. Makoising si Kasagi, constitutional provisions in Hogi Nanga Salandana, Koi Lenga Pataf Sigi Makada, Kaski Kenoda Yumpamoiba, Amana Mabu, Masaki Suna Sanabaya, Dabani Gaina Hogi, Intopa, Simam Si, Musalapa, Adagi Hogi, Settle casting the government gives of the Makoi Puana Hogi, Hogi Saru. Bagi khaga thambagi reservation system lakpa doga political institutions in the masagi participation maikogi representation yawlakpa doga land reforms ko masagi maroina bagi lawa casting si ayamana landless peasants wena leibanina maikogi socio economic development of kanda land reforms ki sawarba bagi thorang lawi ko na maikoi dasu sagi sugumba kunai lengalongi makada satharpa Paikalapa kogi Tosil kya sina ngasagi hana leramba caste yamna topa kogi exploitative with ba sagi nature sida homba kya masu pore esini. According to Rajni Kothari and their set, through secularization of caste, the notion of purity and pollution do not impact the role of caste outside family as rigidly as it did earlier in the public spheres. Rajni Kothari, political scientist, power. Jagi Rajni Kothari amadi their set aiba mioi singsina sagi caste system si India lady adubu caste ki secularization ama lakpa caste system ji secularization ama lakpa sina matam amada pagi mung manung gi wang mada lairamba pagi public space lairamba pagi purity and pollution amang asengi amna kayani pagi yamna songna samna ba yadawi akanba pagi chana pathapsi ngasai Caste has played an important role in Indian democracy following the introduction of a universal adult franchise with the commencement of Indian Constitution as every adult citizen of India got an opportunity to participate in electoral democracy. Caste became an important tool for political mobilization. Caste is Indian democracy. They am solve magi thodang yari. Karam no hara kanda masagi यूनिवर्सल adult franchise की मखादा सही 53 सूरबा इंडिया के सिटीजन खुदिमक्ता ngसाigi voting right की केनोसे समानना फंगलम मतुंदगिदी ngसाigi democratic elections and procedures की केनो में आजलेदा ngसाigi citizens खुदिमा irrespective of their caste and creed ngसाigi saru yarakpa aduga loina caste haibasi ngसाigi sizinara ngसाigi political mobilization chathra miyam ngसाigi asun khomjalaga ngसाigi political association sorry कोई cultural association दगी होरगा कोई political party फावगी थांगता caste की basis द सेंबनरपा caste की interest सब तोंगनबा कोई पुखनरपुजी दगी ngसाigi yam sauraba role ama caste na Indian politics de lawni. According to Lloyd Rudolph and Susan Rudolph, caste associations have played a crucial role in mobilizing caste for getting their democratic rights. Lloyd Rudolph and Susan Rudolph Anina Indian society si nainaba Indian politics si nainaba sida ngsaigi caste ni pham oiraga semgat pa khoi lupsing associations mayam sina ngsaigi hariba miyam si twan ba caste yawba miyam sing si khoi tasan khomjal lakanda mai khoi ꯄꯦꯟꯗꯕ ꯅꯨꯡꯉꯥꯏꯇꯕ ꯈꯨꯗꯣꯡꯆꯥꯗꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯂꯦꯛꯇꯤꯚ ꯏꯟꯇꯔꯦꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯁꯔꯚ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯁꯦꯐꯒꯥꯔꯗ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯟꯇꯔꯦꯁ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯇꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗꯦꯃꯣꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯇꯤꯛ ꯔꯥꯏꯠꯁ ꯐꯪꯅꯅꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯛꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯤꯛ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯦꯁꯣꯁꯤꯌꯦꯁꯟꯁꯉꯩꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯂꯧꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯨꯅꯤ in the book Rise of the Plebeians 2009ꯗ ꯐꯣꯡꯕ co-edited by Christoph Zefferlot and Sanjay Kumar several scholars have argued that participation of Dalits and OBCs in different states have increased, especially since the last decades of the 20th century. This is reflection of change in nature of caste in the post-independence period. Rise of the Plebeians scholars Dalits amadi OBCs participation in political life. Masi aduga matik henkale haidana 20th century ki kogi loisalakpa kogi saruksidagi yamna kogi Dalits and OBC ki political participation political involvement aduga matik henkale haidana thami masina ngasai caste ki kanoje salon se hana sumnagi kogi socio cultural weba adugumba kano moina group oina division oina leirambadagi hojikti political gi process ta yamna maroiba thodang loba adugumba kogi concept haibadi ade kogi caste haibadi adugumba mi kanglo sinsi ko masigi kenosi caste adum haibdare akoi londa to painga leitamina ba caste adugi matik soba political life ta ningtama matungdagi lawai haibadi. Apart from class-based associations, several political parties which address the issues of specific castes or caste groups have emerged in India. These parties aim to empower specific castes. Adoni ngasai class-based association katana taba. Aduga caste-based caste haidawni ba sigi kenose caste-based associations kata semaga makoi cultural social life ki tawmadu adu katana taba ngasai political parties ke ama saigi tonga casting zigi maikoigi interest ko interest on serve tawna ba maikoigi specific casting zigi kunai da moina loriba maikoigi sentum firam dagi horaga magi political empowerment ni ko sugumba keno hiram ki amada koigi mateng pi bai da ko adu political parties ki ama thuli ko kuda moina Uttar Pradesh da Bahujan Samaj Party ko sijina koigi mafam da laiba Bahujan Samaj maruina masida Dalits backward classes ko scheduled caste aduga OBC kambusing mekoi mayam sigi ayamba ko kangumna support tawakanda sembat ba aduga mekoi gi interest safeguard to protect tawna ba aduga promote tawna ba maina Bahujan Samaj Party ne kan honarami 1970s amsong 80s da maruina Saran Singh na lusingba koi Bharatiya Kranti Dal Bharatiya Lok Dal or Lok Dal haiba political parties in Sigi Mahada su backward classes na maruina kogi lomi haidare backward farming class communities na si North India gi maham singda kogi yam kanna makoi interest ki damata hariba political parties ngai na honarami Tamil Nadu da su DMK ko aduga AIDMK haiba chauba regional party ani sina kogi backward classes sin sigi yani ko makoi bu ngasai gi mobilize toroga makoi bu khomjil laganda kogi maikoigi political participation aduga makhoi interest articulate to hanba ko masida sauraba tholang lori support basis of the Congress especially till the 1980s and that of the BJP from the 2014 consists of multiple castes Congress ki oina 1980s fawda koigi support base adi Congress party the support oriba maruiba miyam ji keno se koigi tonga casting pull ko 1980s fawda yamba tonga casting punna Congress support adai di Congress pelak tabadagi tonga asagi cast man sigi moigi interest up tona ba koigi political parties man thola ko amanga police mai tona na बहुjan Samaj Party adu the regional party oina antrana koigi national party oina maina safong kanda maina lai the BJP ki oina su asagi 2014 ki sai dagi di BJP ki su asagi tonga cast ki ka mioi kya mana koigi support to ba ki 2014 ki tung sai di ko je class ki wafam the last ka caste cybersecurity kaino caste no over role je kaino habagi political Indian political life ta caste no over role mai thongdang se kaino habase koi job am nei nare adun hojina mu class cybersecurity no habini ko unlike caste class is not hereditary ko it is also not restricted to any religion ka and ngasai caste cybersecurity class ka khene caste cybersecurity ngasai gi high with the minor my hereditary way habdi by birth ni sai aina Brahmin family the poe I Brahmin way Kshatriya family the poe Kshatriya way ni Shudra the poe Shudra way ni I madu the hong ya de ko khunai da madu hong lu ngon the lambi pi de adu class di hereditary oy de class social class di ngasai I lai ba mu mada landless peasant amo way na I mu adu mai mu mada I je hinge adu kai gomba I gi khona jaba adu I gi lai ba ta ta matu na I na kai gomba yamna successful oy ba businessman ama natragana khoi bureaucrat ama natragana khoi professional ama oirawa kanda is class hong na mai tawdana heredity oide madi lairaba imuna poba mi je ina khulna pa ya de hablai de pa da ina khulna imunda lairama mi si laira ya de hablai de na masi hongbo honjin se lai class ke masi khine ko adu ki mathakta saigi class ki often city religion ama da hekta kanu oiba oide tamna kano religion amaga kano iba susana kano tabu oide maramdi se maroina caste system ki kano se maroina Hindu society de lai ado Hindu da tana ko India lai ba Christian aduga ko gi ran Islam chali ba Muslim sing so dom caste kano se lai tamna te lai ko maroina Indian society ki Hindu aina ko ni kamu sing se da caste ki kano se yam prominent ne lai ui adang asai class ki matang sida di masida di religion ki wafan su lai te Christian sa pakambu da su class ki khena lai Islam sa pakambu da su lai Hindu sa pakambu da su lai Buddhist sa ju adagi Jainism sa ju ba Sikh wala su oina class ki no se lai bo class denotes economic position of a group or a person belonging to such group sai class na masakta isi kaina kan da sai ki mioi kalu na jaga mioi duki my economic position, my central equivalent. Class is generally associated with the relationship of a person to economic aspect. It shows the relationship of a group with the economic resources, control of the resources, and their distribution among groups or individuals. Say, magi central hiramda, say, ni amana, natragan yoy kalu amana, kayam yamna, my economic resources, kaya my control to madugi distribution ko maduda mai share kya no haven single makha pona class lebe ko then hani se although class is an economic category it is not devoid of its relationship with non-economic aspects such as caste tribe or religion ko no class ki kano se sel thum gi oiba sel thum gi hiram da impam oiba dumba poram oiraga su masai gi class atopa non-economic aspects kudamoina caste tribe the religion gumba mari sule lena dabra hayadi madumati natte madugasia mari lena in Marxian terms there are basically two types of classes the haves and the have-nots Marxian analysis ta society amada laise class ani broadly ko amana ye maramatum laiba sen pai ba kambu aduga maramatum laitaba ko lam laitaba masai industry means of production laitaba ko sen laitaba ma have-nots in the haves on resources or means of production and the have-nots do not own resources but have labor power. aduna ngasai have singsina maikoi di resource lay means of production lay aduga have not sing sigidi haiba resource sing lay ke maikoi na lay just maikoi di thabak suraga madugi simi mo era kan da thabak suraga madugi labor di bola sen tamang kusumal tama du katani ko Harish Damodaran in India's New Capitalist explains that caste background of the capitalists since the last few decades of the 20th century became wider than it was still a few years after independence. Capitalist India again 20th century की matung misalapa sai loisamdai haidare 20th century loisamdai sai dagi sai gi mai India da tholai ba capitalist ko gi senjau pai ba sing gi mai ko caste background sin nai na basida India's new capitalist civilized in nai na ba kan da sai gi mai caste basis se ko adu mati pathok sa ko hai di aham ba da ko gi brahmin sing set sing na aham capitalist wara me ha kan yu sum kuithara matung dagi di sai ke da ga kan da paksan na ko gi atopa caste nyam da gi su ba ko gi nyam da na capitalism. In the post-independence period, the agrarian classes can be described as follows: landlords and tenants, kulaks, rich peasants, middle peasants, and agricultural laborers, marginal and small farmers, and footloose labor. Ningkhatama matung the agrarian classes ko masagi low singu toraga labor ko mio sing sigida suma gi class tongan na khai ko maroina landlords and tenants side na sumaina labor natagana kulaks or rich peasants, middle peasants, agricultural laborers ko. Aduga marginal and small farmers ko. Maroina marginal and small farmers in masagi lang kredi lejaba aduga maduna magi saisu pasa na ba mataga magi sentung gi maduna loina ma keno to budi income mo budi kona da ba duna atopa mi gi thabak sura ko la himo kamu duni aduga footloose labor hai kamu musum tholai ko. There are some social groups who are not engaged in some fixed occupation. They do whatever work is available to them. They do not own land or do not have any durable means of livelihood. In his book, Footloose Labor, Zen Brahman terms these classes as footloose labor. Footloose labor is magi sinpham je sini adana akang naba. Sai thang saraga natragana yo suraga natragana koi any six have the might of my fixed way not all living at matam magi shing never tells upon the sura that my labor masagi lam zilazaba wagi kayani wagi shing never pamba once sura that my him the new account to masagi footloose labor and hydricons and them and my life with the minus season. Classes have close relationship with caste. Although all classes are found in all castes, generally the low caste, Dalits and lower section have larger share of poorer classes than the high caste. Caste ka class ka amu ani ki maris in nahi patani hujisina ko. Class ka ju social classes singa bagi caste singa su yam na ba mai lai kamaina no hai kanda sagi caste khodi makta sagi class khodi makse loina phangyo ko lai brahmin ju sagi high class ki brahmin lai low class ki brahmin lai ko lai ra brahmin dagi yam sen pai ba senjau pai ba successful lai ba du ma yam asu lai ko mai to na ko gi sudra vaisya dagi se scheduled caste dalit ai ba amu sing da su sagi ko sen yam pai ba capitalist su lai adubu sarana yang apa kanda sagi dalit sadu ba lower section sing dai da maruina low caste ki kamus dai da ayamana lai ra ba ko gi kaya ni ko yi sentrum priba ngam sa da ni kang masagi lam ngam to kan mi sual la ka pa mai dan na tarana ko yi machinery to ka ko yi pa song na ko yi lo sing to ba sing ngam pai lo kambu ko mai ko jing sai high caste ko sin smai lai ba adagi mathang da ko yi jat ya da sin smai na middle class lai ko adagi the agricultural laborers, small and marginal farmers, footloose laborers is na maru ina sai gi mi gi lo da thabu sura ga paisa tan ba नत्रगना मसागी लबुक्तबु थबक सुरा पैसा तांबा अदुगा मीदबु सुरा सेन तांबा नत्रगना फम फम थबक सुरा लेबा फ्रीज लेबसि हाइबा म्याम्सदि यामना दलिस कुंबा लोअर बैकवर्ड क्लासेस सिंगी मिसिंग होय हमनि हाइदि कास्ट का की अनि दुगी लाइनरिबा मरी दनि सगोंदो middle classes generally denote those classes who are engaged in salary occupations in public or private sectors. They also include professionals or self-employed persons such as doctors, lawyers, or journalists. Middle class की middle class ना कोई तोलोब चावा public sector तो वगैरह private sector तो वगैरह कोई तोलोब चाले वा professionals or self-employed कामबू सिंह से middle classes है रसू मुझे जो homogeneous हुए थे मैं कोई जो मागी सेंटुम की प्रिबन income generation power की मतुम इना मैं कोई जो तोंगान तोंगान बमों दा कोई middle class है मो lower middle upper middle classes है ना मो खाई दो ही जिन अहम सुबह लाइस ट्राइब सिंह ऐसा इन हाइजर के बता कोई ना सिंगी ना ट्रगन ना कोई ना हाउमी या लहोमी सिटी चेंज ना कोई ना अनबियाई कोई वाई ना Tribe privacy tribes refer to a group of people who share some characteristics which are different from those of caste. Caste का tribe is a kene का खगमाना के तो उसको याव लई अदुबुंग सगी kene. Some scholars regard tribes as indigenous caste. Scholars करना tribes in the indigenous side ना कोई मणिपुर जो जी yelhomi I don't know, kind of toys about my crazy tribes in indigenous highness of in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, and a section of tribes in Assam, also known as Adivasis. Aiba states instead labor tribes in Buna, Adivasi highness of Tribes in India have been subjected to prolonged exploitation and deprivation. Tribes in Simaroina, India, British colonial period, Amamani Horgan, my crazy, Amna, Hisa Gam, crazy, exploit the Vibuko. Look at my query, my Pampam Topa, my Salu, my Salu, Tumbida was up to Pitumbida by the Randuba, by one minute Hagadra Wagi, my quasi Kayani, my quasi sent to me Pilums, a quite automatic, Yama Pilum Sahandana, Topa than the happy that the minor lab of Kambuni. Tribe as a concept was introduced by the British during the 19th century in India. Tribe have a why Maxim can also British in the 19th century that India the minor one of approximately was used to differentiate the communities which did not fit into the definition of caste. India labor social systems the caste hidden car labor mayamsi Masida fit away out of me come of Semo propaganda. British ethnographers and I'm going to try to have wise minor Putoki happen. The concept of tribe was officially defined in the government of India in 1935. Later, the National Constitution article Article 342 Pali the President of India tribes or tribal communities in the specified Togo state of Mada Kanagano tribes in the Arena Masakando Adana Masidamu Kamainamu Masigi Aya the Zim Kamaito Yagan the Parliament. Parliament may include and exclude tribes from the list of scheduled tribes in the state. Parliament mo masagi state naman level scheduled tribes in the yaw iba tribes in the scheduled tribe tagi mo scheduled tribe to salhan ba na to lotopa si parliament tawis me ko. The Constitution of India has several provisions for the welfare of the scheduled tribes in India. Constitution the provisions miyama ko tribes in city scheduled tribes in city ya pa tofsigi da magda ba ko warol kya the mani yawi. Article 342 the special administrative measures ko articles the Constitution also ensures protection of the tribal languages, dialects, and culture under Article 29. Article 29 in Makada Constitution tribal languages, dialects in Aduga Makwagi Nadka, Wagi Loan Nana Simba Mamsi tribals in the massive protections, Article 29 Pirika. Schedule 6 schedule and highest in Amukidova, autonomous district councils in the hills inhabited by the tribes in Northeast India. Northeast India, the tribes in the from the 6th schedule provision Makada autonomous district council same way Sanapata lay the Northeast scheme of Parimota Masses and never hide at least another from I am the Sanay, Sanadam from Suyari. 5th schedule Sinamu tribal advisory council Sema Masina Masagi tribal and Namadeba by Malan India Sarusinka the data say Madhya Pradesh Buhara Uttar Pradesh Buhara Yawa labor travels in a Namna Kundama from the welfare gi what was I can never ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯌꯥꯏꯐ ꯄꯥꯏꯈꯠꯅꯕ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯌꯦꯡꯁꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯑꯦꯗꯚꯥꯏꯖꯔꯤ ꯀꯥꯎꯟꯁꯤꯜꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ 5th ꯁꯦꯗꯨꯜꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥꯗ ꯁꯦꯝꯃꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯂꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯀꯅꯥꯅꯣ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯀꯔꯝꯕ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞꯁꯤꯡꯕꯨ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯁꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯅꯩꯅꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯞ ꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯃꯁꯛ ꯃꯇꯧ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯑꯣꯡ ꯃꯆꯠ ꯈꯔ ꯂꯩ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯤꯁꯇꯤꯛꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨꯗ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯆꯜꯂꯤꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯍꯥꯟꯕꯗ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯍꯣꯡꯕ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯑꯃꯗꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯟꯁꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯣꯁꯤꯌꯣ ꯀꯜꯆꯔꯦꯜ ꯏꯀꯣꯅꯣꯃꯤꯛ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯟꯁꯐꯣꯔꯃꯦꯁꯟ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜꯒꯤ ꯃꯁꯛꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯑꯍꯣꯡꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯆꯤꯡ ꯃꯥꯟꯗ ꯅꯣꯡꯃꯃꯪꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯈꯨꯟꯗꯥꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯗꯔꯟ ꯐꯦꯁꯤꯂꯤꯇꯤꯁ ꯈꯨꯗꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯝꯕꯤ ꯊꯣꯡ ꯂꯥꯏꯔꯤꯛ ꯂꯥꯏꯁꯨ ꯇꯝꯐꯝ ꯑꯅꯥ ꯂꯥꯏꯌꯦꯡ ꯁꯪ ꯀꯩꯅꯆꯤꯡꯕ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯈꯨꯗꯣꯡꯆꯥꯕꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯐꯖꯅ ꯂꯩꯒꯟꯗꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯃꯤꯑꯣꯏ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯃꯊꯪꯗꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯑꯌꯥꯝꯕꯅ ꯃꯁꯥꯒꯤ ꯏꯃꯨꯡ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯑꯣꯏꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯁꯨꯖꯔꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯧꯎ ꯁꯤꯡꯎ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯦ ꯇꯧꯋꯤ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯅꯝꯅ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯦꯛꯇꯤꯁ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯦꯒ꯭ꯔꯤꯀꯜꯆꯔꯦꯜ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯖꯨꯝ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯁꯤꯐꯇꯤꯡ ꯀꯜꯇꯤꯚꯦꯁꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯄꯥꯝꯂꯧ ꯎꯕꯁꯤꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯍꯨꯝꯁꯨꯕꯗ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯧꯎ ꯁꯤꯡꯎꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯆꯝꯕ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯗꯤꯁꯅꯦꯜ ꯃꯤꯟꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯗꯔꯟ ꯃꯦꯁꯤꯅꯔꯤ ꯅꯠꯇꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯆꯝꯕ ꯈꯨꯠꯁꯨ ꯈꯨꯠꯂꯥꯏꯁꯤꯡ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯔꯒ ꯂꯧꯎ ꯁꯤꯡꯎꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯇꯧꯋꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯤꯑꯣꯏꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯅ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯀꯩꯗꯧꯕ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯊꯣꯛꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯌꯣꯟꯅꯅꯕꯒꯤꯗꯃꯛꯇ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯇꯝꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯗꯔꯟ ꯃꯥꯔꯀꯦꯠꯁꯤꯡ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯣꯟꯕꯒꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯣꯡꯆꯥꯕꯁꯦ ꯃꯣꯏꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯇꯦ in comparison to women in the non-tribal societies women in tribal societies generally enjoy more equality ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯒꯤ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕꯁꯤ non-tribal society-ꯒ tribal society ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯀꯥꯟꯗ tribal society-ꯗꯗꯤ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯒ ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯒꯁꯤ ꯊꯣꯏꯗꯣꯛꯄ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕ ꯂꯩꯇꯦ sometimes ꯅꯨꯄꯤꯅ ꯅꯨꯄꯥꯗꯒꯤ ꯐꯥꯎꯕ ꯈꯔ ꯊꯥꯛ ꯋꯥꯡꯅ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯡꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯌꯥꯎꯏꯀꯣ tribal chiefs or community leaders play decisive roles in the adjudication of affairs within each tribe ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯊꯣꯛꯄ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯈꯠꯅ ꯆꯩꯅꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯠꯅ ꯁꯨꯅꯕ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯊꯧꯗꯣꯛ ꯋꯥꯊꯣꯛꯁꯤꯡ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯆꯤꯐꯁ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯝꯃ꯭ꯌꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤ ꯂꯤꯗꯔꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯄꯨꯟꯕ ꯋꯥꯔꯦꯞꯅ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯋꯥꯔꯣꯏꯁꯤꯟ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯌꯦꯜ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯑꯌꯥꯝꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯌꯥꯝꯕꯗ ꯇꯧꯒꯜꯂꯤꯀꯣ In the post-independence period, the tribal communities have witnessed changes due to policies of the state and central governments. ꯃꯇꯨꯡꯗꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯀꯝꯃ꯭ꯌꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯛꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯤꯛ ꯍꯣꯡꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯤꯁꯇꯤꯛꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤꯒꯤꯅꯣ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯇꯦꯠ ꯑꯃꯁꯨꯡ ꯁꯦꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯜ ꯒꯚꯔꯟꯃꯦꯟ ꯑꯅꯤꯅ ꯄꯥꯏꯈꯠꯂꯛꯄ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯁꯤꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯊꯧꯁꯤꯜ ꯀꯌꯥꯒꯤ ꯃꯈꯥꯗ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯈꯨꯟꯗꯥꯔꯤꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯤꯡꯗ ꯂꯝꯕꯤ ꯊꯣꯡꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯔꯤꯛ ꯂꯥꯏꯁꯨ ꯇꯝꯕꯒꯤ ꯑꯅꯥ ꯂꯥꯏꯌꯦꯡ ꯁꯪꯒꯤ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯊꯦꯜꯒꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯈꯨꯗꯣꯡꯆꯥꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯣꯗꯔꯟ agricultural tools and implements ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ introduce ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯄꯥꯛ ꯁꯟꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯎꯕ ꯐꯪꯉꯦ as a result of these changes new classes have emerged among different tribes in India ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯏ socio cultural and economic transformation ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ tribal society-ꯗ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ new classes ꯀꯣ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ race class ꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯅꯤ capitalist ꯍꯥꯏꯕ ꯇꯥꯔꯦ capitalist ꯍꯥꯏꯒꯦꯔꯥ bourgeois ꯍꯥꯏꯒꯦꯔꯥ ꯄꯦꯇꯤ ꯕꯨꯔꯖꯨꯋꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯒꯦꯔꯥ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯗꯜ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯑꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦꯀꯣ class formation ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕ tribal society. Besides the rise of new classes, intrusion of market has disrupted the tribal economy, leading to ecological degradation and depletion and extraction of natural resources. ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯥꯊꯤꯕ ꯁꯥꯐꯨ ꯑꯃ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯅꯧꯕ ꯁꯣꯁꯤꯌꯦꯜ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯦꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯗ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯃꯊꯛꯇ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯁꯦ ꯍꯥꯟꯅꯗꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯆꯝꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯕꯥꯔꯇꯔ ꯁꯤꯁꯇꯦꯝ ꯀꯥꯏꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯨꯊꯣꯔꯛꯏꯕ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯗꯛꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯗ꯭ꯌꯨꯁꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏ ꯀꯩꯊꯦꯜꯗ ꯄꯨꯊꯣꯛꯑꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃꯒ ꯑꯃꯒ ꯁꯤꯟꯅꯔꯒ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯂꯤꯃꯤꯇꯦꯠ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯦꯟꯁꯦ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯂꯩꯔꯒ ꯑꯋꯥꯠꯄ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯑꯃꯒ ꯑꯃꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯃꯦꯟꯁꯤꯟꯅꯔꯒꯀꯣ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯁꯇꯦꯅꯦꯟꯁꯁꯨ ꯑꯣꯏꯅꯔꯝꯃꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯇꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯗꯧꯕ ꯃꯥꯔꯀꯦꯠ ꯏꯀꯣꯅꯣꯃꯤꯒꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯀꯦꯄꯤꯇꯦꯂꯤꯁ ꯃꯥꯔꯀꯦꯠ ꯏꯀꯣꯅꯣꯃꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯁꯥꯐꯨ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯟꯅꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯖꯔꯝꯕ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯏꯀꯣꯅꯣꯃꯤꯁꯤꯗ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯅꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯑꯍꯣꯡꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯄꯣꯔꯛꯑꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯅ ꯀꯩ ꯇꯧꯔꯦ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯏꯀꯣꯂꯣꯖꯤꯀꯦꯜ ꯗꯤꯒ꯭ꯔꯦꯗꯦꯁꯟ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯅꯦꯆꯔꯦꯜ ꯔꯤꯁꯣꯔꯁꯦꯁꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯅꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯆꯤꯡꯊꯣꯛꯑꯒ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯣꯏꯁꯤꯜꯂꯛꯄꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯃꯔꯝꯗꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯥꯔꯀꯦꯠ ꯐꯣꯔꯁꯁꯦ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗꯗꯤ ꯁꯦꯟ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯃꯛ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄꯅꯤꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯈꯨꯟꯗꯥꯔꯝꯕ ꯎꯃꯪ ꯋꯥꯃꯪꯁꯤꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯤꯝꯕꯔꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯗꯤꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁꯇꯦꯁꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯅꯦꯆꯔꯦꯜ ꯔꯤꯁꯣꯔꯁꯦꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯗꯛꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯏꯜ ꯂꯥꯏꯐꯀꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯑꯦꯅꯤ ꯔꯤꯁꯣꯔꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯟ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯑꯦꯛꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯀꯩꯊꯦꯜꯗ ꯌꯣꯜꯂꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯁꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯣꯟꯊꯣꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯄꯥꯛꯁꯟꯅ ꯆꯠꯊꯔꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯤ ꯃꯥꯂꯦꯝꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯈꯨꯗꯤꯡꯃꯛꯇ ꯎꯕ ꯐꯪꯉꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥꯗꯁꯨ ꯊꯣꯛꯏꯀꯣ. The tribal inhabited areas have been subjected to exploitation and suffered deprivation. ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯗꯁꯨ ꯄꯟꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ. Tribes and political movements. Tribes in different regions of India have been engaged in political movements against the exploitation and for their political autonomy from time to time. Masi political movements tribes in India ki tonga mafamda ngasai gi maikhoibu maikhoida kari hani chathaba koigi sumnam lenga madu koigi pendaba haidare ko madu maikhoibu tathi tawaina tawba maikhoibu namjanam pengnaba adugumba koigi lenga pathake mayokta aduga maikhoigi ningkha tam haidare ko ningkha tam hingnabagi political economic tanabagi matam gi ko tribal rules during the 19th century, the tribes were involved in a series of revolts against the colonial rule and its interference in their lives, culture, and lives. 19th century, the British colonial period, India from the tribe South India, Northeast India, Central India, tribes Khan Haiba Lam, Satisgar Haiba Lam, Bihari area, the Kerala Romda, the Northeast area, the Super. I'm the Napoli revolts Kam Hoki, Massacre Naga Maruina, Mapan, colonial influence and interference, Massina, Travels in the life, my Punsi that my not, my rights, my forest, land, resources, my rights ma'amsida an administrative system for tribal areas was created with distinct legislative and executive measures which primarily aim at protection and safeguarding the interests and welfare of the tribes. The tribes in the Nuaifaba, Pusima, Wenabadu, Mikogi, Kudonsada Buman, Natom, Nabagidamakta, Sagi, legislative and executive measures Kama, tribal areas in the Baikalaga, my administrative system. Ningtama matungda tribal movements in maikogi awareness ko maikoi centrum ki film chadaba myamasi koigi konaba maikogi political marginalization mathanaba maikogi representation ko moi mihut hena khananaba state assembly da or parliament da kai da ko moi am chawa heu ka amal mai hawaki ko ningtama phanga matungda suba haiba movements in sigi mateng dagi maikoina kai da what basic political and regional autonomy Sagi Hena Pangnava political and regional autonomy Hena Pangnava Sagi local self-governance institutions Sagi Hawaga state central government level so in particular units Maxiga Lainaramba tribal Lainariba relationship rearrange the moments etc. However, rearrangements district level down regional level the autonomy another state assembly Ningkha Tamba Levamo and Shemi have a power demands by our district Dima so Kabi Alon district Santa Bodo territorial council Sugumasina by regional level autonomy Highway and the another West Assembly West Bengal da Okalen Gilam Tali Assam da Bodolean Tali adagi se kano Zakhan Nona Simgi Yadagi and the Satisgar Simgi sumai tawdana aiba tribal na majority ba anowa states in Semba and Luina Ningkha Tamgi Ningkha Tamba Pau Senga and a Mizo movement Nagari movement and a smile level Podomi Kaili matches. We shall have Pugi Shaida Samarida Pena Navia who's a Pawisla Pena society and politics and India the labor India society and some politics that Maruina Pena Nenagisi Caste ne class ne tribe have home sini Masday da Koina the power of Pena Pamizi and Caste Kaino Yam Pukan Caste Nasai Magi me Duna Puriba Caste Mamasana Suso more office or her own source by birth mana popagi or by munduda layamiba caste mana dum low there say I pana tama or me do a doctor or engineer or ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯅ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯩ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯐꯦꯁꯅꯦꯜ ꯂꯥꯏꯐ ꯑꯃ ꯆꯪꯕꯗꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯊꯤꯡꯕ ꯂꯩꯇꯦ ꯑꯗꯣ ꯑꯩ ꯏꯄꯥꯗꯨꯅ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯝꯃꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯁꯨꯗ꯭ꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯝꯃꯒꯗꯤ ꯑꯩ ꯁꯨꯗ꯭ꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯅꯤꯡꯗꯦ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯒꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯗꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯍꯦꯔꯤꯗꯤꯇꯔꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯤꯃ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯑꯅꯤꯁꯨꯕꯗ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯑꯦꯟꯗꯣꯒꯥꯃꯁ ꯀꯦꯇꯦꯒꯣꯔꯤ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗꯨꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯨꯍꯣꯡꯉꯒ ꯆꯥꯔꯣꯡ ꯃꯔꯣꯡꯗꯕꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯁꯨꯗ꯭ꯔ ꯑꯣꯏꯔꯒꯅ ꯁꯨꯗ꯭ꯔꯒꯤꯀꯣ ꯁꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯕꯨ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯔꯛꯇꯁꯨ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯀꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯈꯥꯏꯔꯦꯀꯣ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯁꯤꯝꯄ꯭ꯂꯤꯁꯇꯤꯛ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯅꯩꯅꯕꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯅꯤ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯁꯨ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟꯁꯦ ꯃꯈꯜ ꯌꯥꯝꯃꯤ ꯁꯝ ꯀꯦꯖꯦꯁ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯥꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯏꯁꯇꯦꯠ ꯈꯔꯗꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯕ꯭ꯔꯥꯍꯃꯤꯟꯁꯤꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯕꯩꯁ꯭ꯌ ꯁꯨꯗ꯭ꯔꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯃꯨꯛ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯍꯟꯊꯅ ꯇꯣꯟꯅ ꯍꯤꯡꯕ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯈꯔꯁꯨ ꯂꯩꯀꯣ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯍꯤꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯀꯣꯟꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯀꯨꯞꯅ ꯅꯩꯅꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯀꯅꯤꯀꯣ ꯀꯥꯁꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯥꯡꯗ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯐꯥꯎꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯥꯁꯀꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯦ ꯗꯦ ꯍꯦꯚ ꯀꯟꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯕ꯭ꯌꯨꯇꯦꯠ ꯇꯨ ꯏꯟꯀ꯭ꯔꯤꯖꯤꯡ ꯔꯣꯜ ꯑꯣꯐ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯏꯟ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯟ ꯀꯣ ꯏꯟ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯟ ꯗꯦꯃꯣꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯁꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯀꯥꯁꯀꯤ ꯋꯥꯐꯝꯁꯤꯅ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯌꯟ ꯗꯦꯃꯣꯀ꯭ꯔꯦꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯦꯟꯅ ꯃꯇꯦꯡ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯀꯣ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯍꯥꯟꯕꯗ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯝꯃꯤ ꯀꯥꯁ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯁꯣꯁꯤꯌꯣ ꯀꯜꯆꯔꯦꯜ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯁꯨꯝ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯥꯁꯀꯤ ꯕꯦꯁꯤꯁꯇ ꯃꯣꯕꯤꯂꯥꯏꯁ ꯇꯧꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯇꯤ ꯄꯣꯂꯤꯇꯤꯀꯦꯜ ꯄꯥꯔꯇꯤꯁꯤꯄꯦꯁꯟ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯔꯤꯄ꯭ꯔꯖꯦꯟꯇꯦꯁꯟꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯛꯀꯤ ꯃꯇꯤꯛ ꯑꯆꯧꯕ ꯔꯣꯜꯁꯦ ꯀꯥꯁꯅ ꯂꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯅꯤꯡꯁꯤꯡꯕ ꯌꯥꯕꯗ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯀꯤ ꯋꯥꯐꯝꯗ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯒꯅ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯃꯤꯑꯣꯏ ꯀꯥꯡꯂꯨꯞ ꯑꯃꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯅꯦꯆꯔꯦꯜ ꯔꯤꯁꯣꯔꯁ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯗꯤꯁꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯕ꯭ꯌꯨꯁꯟꯒ ꯃꯥꯒ ꯂꯩꯅꯔꯤꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯁꯔꯨꯛ ꯀꯌꯥꯝ ꯊꯨꯡꯏ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯀꯃꯥꯟ ꯃꯈꯥꯗ ꯔꯤꯁꯣꯔꯁ ꯀꯌꯥꯝ ꯂꯩ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯅꯆꯤꯡꯕꯀꯣ ꯁꯦꯟ ꯊꯨꯝꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯐꯝꯗꯨꯅ ꯂꯦꯞꯄꯅꯤ ꯀꯥꯁꯀ ꯃꯥꯒ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒꯗꯤ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁ ꯑꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯄꯔꯃꯅꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏꯗꯦ ꯀꯥꯁꯇꯤ ꯄꯔꯃꯅꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯏ ꯕꯥꯔꯃꯦꯟ ꯏꯁ ꯑ ꯕꯥꯔꯃꯦꯟ ꯑꯣꯜꯋꯦꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯇꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯔꯔꯕ ꯃꯤ ꯏꯅꯥꯛ ꯈꯨꯜꯂꯛꯄ ꯌꯥꯏꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯈꯦꯠꯅꯕꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯞꯁꯇꯅ ꯉꯁꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯤꯁꯇꯤꯛꯁ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯅꯦꯆꯔꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯅꯦꯆꯔꯦꯜ ꯔꯤꯁꯣꯔꯁ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯅꯛꯅꯅ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯑꯗꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯖꯦꯟꯗꯔ ꯑꯅꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯅꯨꯄꯥ ꯅꯨꯄꯤ ꯀꯣ ꯃꯥꯟꯅꯔꯞ ꯇꯧꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯅꯟ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯒ ꯌꯦꯡꯅꯕꯗ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯃꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯊꯣꯛ ꯂꯥꯟꯊꯣꯛ ꯊꯣꯛꯂꯛꯄ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯋꯥꯌꯦꯜꯕꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯤ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯆꯤꯞꯇꯦꯟ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯀꯝꯃ꯭ꯌꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤ ꯑꯦꯜꯗꯔꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯃꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯌꯦꯜꯕꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡ ꯂꯧꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯣꯏꯅꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯂꯧꯎ ꯁꯤꯡꯎꯒꯤ ꯊꯕꯛ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯣꯗꯔꯟ ꯐꯥꯔꯝ ꯇꯨꯜꯁ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯃꯦꯁꯤꯅꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯗꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯗꯤꯁꯅꯦꯜ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯆꯪꯕ ꯈꯨꯠꯁꯨ ꯈꯨꯠꯂꯥꯏ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯔꯒ ꯂꯧꯎ ꯁꯤꯡꯎ ꯇꯧꯕꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯅ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯥꯏꯕꯦꯜ ꯁꯣꯁꯥꯏꯇꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯀꯦꯔꯦꯛꯇꯔꯤꯁꯇꯤꯛꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯁꯤꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯁꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯒ ꯀ꯭ꯂꯥꯁꯁꯤ ꯁ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗ ꯂꯣꯏꯁꯤꯜꯂꯁꯤ ꯊꯦꯡꯛ ꯌꯨ